If you've ever been told your business needs a digital transformation, I want you to stop for a second and think about who's telling you that. More often than not, the people selling transformation are also the people who benefit from making you feel like everything has to change. But here's what I've seen working with small businesses. Most small businesses don't need transformation. They need stabilization. This episode is delivered by my AI avatar. I wrote the script, reviewed it, and approved it. Same thinking, same frameworks, same move worth. I use this technology so I can spend more of my time diagnosing real business problems instead of sitting in front of a camera. Now, let's talk about where this idea of digital transformation actually came from. It was never created for small businesses. It was created for Fortune 500 companies, large organizations running legacy systems that were built decades ago, banks operating on mainframes, insurance companies still processing paper claims. For businesses like that, a complete shift in how they operate makes perfect sense. There's a pattern I see in almost every small business I work with. They have the tools, they have the subscriptions. What they don't have is connection. The website doesn't feed the CRM. The CRM doesn't trigger follow-ups. The follow-ups aren't tracked. And reporting, it's a guessing game. That's dusty digital, not because the tools are bad, but because nobody wired them together. The fix isn't more tools, it's better structure. Let's keep going. But somewhere along the way, that language got borrowed, and then it got marketed to Main Street, to the landscaping company with 8 employees, the nonprofit serving 3 counties, to the family-owned restaurant trying to figure out online ordering. And the minute that happened, we created a gap between what businesses actually need and what they're being sold. Here's what that looks like. A business owner hears the phrase digital transformation and immediately starts thinking they have to replace everything. New website, new CRM, new marketing platform, AI integration, mobile app, social media strategy, all at once. That's not a strategy. That's panic, dressed up to look like progress. So they spend money they really can't afford on software they don't fully understand to solve problems they haven't clearly identified. Then 6 months later, they're in the exact same place, except now they have more subscriptions and more confusion. Let me give you a different way to think about this. Think about your business like a house. A house has plumbing, electrical, a foundation, walls, a roof. Every system has a purpose and every system works together. When a pipe starts leaking, you don't tear the house down. You figure out what's broken and you fix it. Your digital infrastructure works exactly the same way. Your website, your CRM, your email, your payment processing, your data, those are the plumbing and wiring of your business. When one of those systems isn't working, the answer isn't to transform everything. The answer is to figure out what's broken, what's missing, and what's disconnected. That's stabilization. And for the overwhelming majority of small businesses, stabilization is the right first move, not transformation. So what does stabilization actually look like? It means asking some very basic questions. Do you control your own domain and hosting? Are your accounts documented? Does your website clearly explain what your business actually does? Is your CRM being used consistently? Can you see your numbers, your traffic, your leads, your cost to acquire a customer? If the answer to any of those questions is no, you don't need transformation. You need your plumbing fixed. Now, here's the part that almost nobody talks about. Stabilization isn't exciting. It doesn't make for a flashy conference presentation. Nobody gets on stage and says, today I'd like to tell you about documenting client accounts and configuring a CRM correctly. But digital transformation, Now, that sounds revolutionary. That sounds futuristic. That sells consulting engagements. That sells software licenses. That sells $15,000 website redesigns. Now, I'm not saying agencies or consultants are acting in bad faith. Many of them genuinely want to help. But the industry is built around incentives, and those incentives often reward complexity over clarity. They reward what's new instead of what works. And for most small businesses, that doesn't serve you very well. What serves you is somebody who's willing to look at what you already have, tell you what's working, tell you what isn't, and help you prioritize what to fix first, in plain English, on a realistic timeline, with an honest budget. That's not flashy, but it works. Now, let me be clear about one thing. I'm not saying digital investment is a waste of money. It absolutely isn't. And I'm not saying you should never redesign your website or adopt new technology. You should, when the timing makes sense and when you understand exactly why you're doing it. What I am saying is this: before you invest in anything new, make sure what you already have is stable. Make sure it's documented. Make sure it's connected. Make sure someone besides you can explain how it works. Because you don't renovate a house while the foundation is cracking. You stabilize it first, then you build. So here's what I'd encourage you to do. First, stop using the word transformation. Replace it with stabilization. That one word changes your mindset from panic to process. Second, ask yourself 3 questions. Are my systems stable? Are they documented? Could someone else operate them if I stepped away for 30 days? If you can't answer yes to all 3, that's where your attention belongs. Here's what I'd stop doing. Stop comparing your digital maturity to companies that have completely different budgets, different teams, and different resources. A 5-person accounting firm doesn't need the same digital infrastructure as a 200-person marketing agency. Build the system your business needs, not the one somebody else is showing off online. And finally, think about this. If someone audited every digital account, every tool, every process, every piece of your infrastructure tomorrow, would you feel confident about what they'd find? If the answer is no, that's not a transformation problem. It's a clarity problem. And clarity is fixable. Digital infrastructure doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just has to be understood. That's what we're here to help with. No hype, no fear, just structure and clarity for businesses that deserve better than another buzzword. If you're ready to turn up your digital, subscribe, and let's keep having these conversations, because they just might help you fulfill the personal and financial freedom you were hoping for the day you filed your business registration. We'll talk soon. Your digital infrastructure is the plumbing behind the walls, invisible when it works, catastrophic when it doesn't. Give us a like for the YouTube algorithm and go ahead and subscribe now. Every episode, we break down how to get it right, structured, stable, built to last.